right. Welcome to a special stream where I interview someone that is from the film industry. Today we have Jay Holloway, who is one of the independent directors in Atlanta. Introduce yourself, Jay.
I am the J Man. Yeah, from Atlanta. And well, first, thanks for having me here. Just a little bit about myself. I've been working with in film for about since 2005. And it's been a blast. I've met a lot of friends and allies. I've picked up a lot of parties, and we've completed many quests and successfully defeated producers when creating movies.
Awesome. So we're gonna dive right into the questionnaires. Why choose directing?
Well, I think for me, coming from an artistic background, I used to love to draw comics, and I just got to a point where I wanted to transition my skills from the paper to the big screen. And then also, as a kid, I loved watching horror movies. I loved everything about horror movies, especially the 80s. And I just felt like this was a good way for me to both be creative and do something I love.
Yeah. Awesome.
You're awesome.
How did you get into directing?
That's a good question. I would say I got into it. I made love to it. So yeah, I shot my first film in college, which was called WereBum.
I've definitely heard of that one.
Yeah, but we'll get into the remake later. But I just remember when I was in the I'll never forget this. I was doing my sophomore year of college, and I was in the computer lab, and I was sitting in the corner, and something just said, "Jay, you should be a film director." And I think it was actually the people in the computer lab just messing with me. They had an intercom, and I think they just bothering me and just saying that. But no, I guess it was just one of those moments in my life where I wanted to transition into something new, and I said, hey, yeah, I definitely want to direct. And, I know a lot of people, you hear their background, they're like, oh, I started shooting movies when I was a kid. J-Man didn't do that. J-Man watched movies when he was 8, and he watched a ton of movies. So even though I didn't make them, I watched them. I watched movies that I was not supposed to watch. Not X-rated movies, but I watched movies that a lot of people's like, wow, this kid is watching. Put it like this. Can you imagine a 7-year-old going to see Hellraiser? No, you don't see that nowadays.
Me. I did it.
Oh, you did, Flint?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your parents took you.
I think I saw Pet Sematary when I was like 5. I don't remember. I have to watch Pet Sematary now just because back then it scared the shit out of me, and my parents had to cover my eyes in certain scenes. Like it had a baby that was like really evil. I think I killed. But
I got another one for you. I see my first boob on the big screen. This is a good story too. I see my first horror boob on the big screen, and I actually worked with that actress. It was Lena Quigley, and she
I don't think I know this.
Demons. And
that's awesome.
We were going to see that movie with my parents, and the whole lipstick thing just kind of like it intrigued me. And just fast forward years, I was on set with her. When we shot Dead By Midnight, the sequel, and I said, "Hey, you were my first boob that I seen on the big screen."
That wasn't the older lady, was it? That control.
Yes, that was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I was on set for that personally, but obviously I remember the actress because she was supposed to be one of the bigger stars in Dead By Midnight 2. I didn't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, really awesome actress. We shot her scenes in Florida, and it was just I started naming all the movies, and she's like, "Wow, Jay, you bringing up movies that I forgot that I was in." I said, "Yeah, you were also in the Guyver. You're in the
wait, she was?
She was in the original, the one with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
There's a screen. There's a big chase scene, and when the Zoidnoid Stryker chases he chases Mark Hamill and the Sean
Yeah.
and Misky, and they're running, and he jumps, and the Zoidoid lands on this film set, and she starts
Oh.
to scream, and she's like, "That's not fair! You stepped on my screen!" Yeah, she's like, "Wow, you know that whole line?" I says, "Yeah, I know all the movies you were in. You were in Chainsaw Hookers. You
Jay
were
the
in
Stalker.
she was in Sorority Babes and the Slime Bolorama." So yeah, as I said, I know I'm rambling here, but yeah, she was
Oh,
actually
great.
my first boob that I saw on the big screen. Don't forget that.
That's awesome. All right. So next question is, who inspired you?
Well, I think it's not just a who; it's a lot of people that have inspired me. I would say that my one of my directors that I do love, and I'm gonna say from both a professional and a personal,
Yeah.
is Frank Henenlotter.
Who?
Because I love the type of movies that he makes. He's done like Basket Case, which is I love it. I love Basket Case.
Okay.
He did WereHooker, Brain Damage, and those are just movies that I really still watch over and over, and I love his style because he has that kind of weird style that I think that I want to say he's kind of like I don't want to compare him to John Carpenter, but I want to say his films they're memorable, and they just break a lot of just like unknown like they just break a lot. I wouldn't say break boundaries, but they're just weird, and I like weird stuff.
Heck yeah.
And my personal favorite director is my best friend Tori Haas, and the reason why I say that because him not doing film, he's also like my best friend, and I think that that's also my second favorite filmmaker, because again I love Tori stuff, and again I think
I do too.
One thing I like about him is that when I watch his just watching him direct, and then also working with him when I direct, when we work together, it's not even like we're working together, it's like we're friends having fun.
Yeah.
And he's thinking like he basically, when I'm having a hard time translating things to the crew, Tori comes and they're like, "Okay, I got this. Let's do this. You want to do this? Okay, I'll take over the thing. We're gonna do this." And I got this one story when we were shooting Crow Scare, and I want to say there was a scene that there was a shot I wanted to do, and it was supposed to be a rocking chair, and a rocking chair like kind of rocking on the porch, and he's like, "Jay, there's nothing supernatural in this movie. Why do you want to have a rocking chair? Why are you doing this to me?" He's like, "Why are you doing this to me?" But yeah, it's I would say again, professional would be Frank Henenlotter. And Tori would be my personal favorite director. Not personal friend. Personal friend.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love Tori.
No, you're awesome.
Tell us about some of your projects. I know you brought up Crow Scare, and you brought up Dead by Midnight, and the Were series.
Yes, the Were series. Again, story about the Were series. I shot the first one in. It was my student film. Shot that in college, right? I think that was like about 2006, and then I rebooted it, which was in 2000. I want to say it was probably like 2009, I believe.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot there was original WereBum and then WereBum, the remake. Yes.
2009. That's when I started meeting I think I met a lot of my good friends on that. And there's a special person that was on that we wanted him to say a line. Change? Does anyone have change?
That person was humiliated, but supposedly it was pretty good, pretty amazing.
That was a good experience. Again, the Were series, that was the first one, and then the second one, which was WereHooker. And I got a chance to work with another sweetheart. I love this actress to death because she's just one of those, like just how Sam Raimi has his Bruce Campbell. I want to say she's my equivalent to Bruce Campbell. Her name is Caitlin McPhail, and she's been in a lot of projects that I worked on from the start.
Yeah, she's
Her
amazing.
and also Melissa Haas, who was in Dead by Midnight, one of the segments I shot. Um, Caitlin, I can't say enough good words about her. Just working with her in WereHooker, she really, really brought the character to life. And then
Yeah.
also that was actually a film that I did that was an homage to Frank Henenlotter, and I remember sending it to him on Facebook, and he responded back with, "Now get ready, ha," and that just changed my whole life.
You said
He said,
ha?
"Ha." Yeah, yeah, like,
Ah, yeah, you do say that a lot.
yeah, like 18, like,
Ah.
ha. Yeah, so I was like, wow, one of the filmmakers that I admire actually just said, ha. And maybe I can use that as a quote if I ever promote it. Frank Henenlotter responds with, ha. And then the third one, which is partially done, I think very few people have seen it. It's WereHouse.
Oh my
And
god.
it's about a man who gets a splinter stuck into his finger. He gets a splinter stuck in his finger, and he turns into a house. And I got to work with another good actor quite a few good actors. Well, not a few, but just a whole team of good people.
Yeah, Dylan was in it, which we interviewed before on this.
Yeah, and that one was a hoot. After the Where series, I did some other, I wouldn't say like obscure movies, but shorts, but
Yeah.
Underlock, which was I tried to dabble into using the John Carpenter style.
Yeah, that has De Jour,
De Jour.
which we've had on
Yeah,
I've had on here too. I've had De Jour and Emma Green, De Jour
yeah.
Ashwood. But fantastic actors and actresses.
Yeah, De Jour is a great. I mean, I think with De Jour, I when I work on my feature, which what I'll go into later, I definitely want to get him in it. But yeah, after Underlock, I shot again. That's when I started working on the Dead by Midnight series, and then I also worked with the awesome people. We did bumpers for the Atlanta Buried Alive Film Festival, which is a horror film festival that they would have every year. I don't think they had. I think they had it this year. I want to say. I think we shot a trailer. No, I don't think I don't think they had it this year. I think we shot a trailer for them last year. And so that was a good experience because Blake Myers, who used to run the festival, great guy, and Lucas Godfrey. Now, Luke is a special effects artist, and he actually works with Greg Nicotero with The Walking Dead and Creepshow.
Oh hell yeah!
And, yeah, so I'm hoping that Luke is watching this streaming. Luke, please ask Nicotero to let me direct the Creepshow episode. That's one of my goals is to direct the Creepshow episode.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I love Creepshow. Well, I love original Creepshow, and I haven't seen actually the new one yet, but I do know Greg is on there a lot.
It's great. And again, just I want to say, again, I worked on the Dead by Midnight series. I did Lost Laundry, where I worked with an actress called Jillian Van Blair. I worked with Melissa Haas, which again, next to Caitlin, she's a great actor too as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also there's another project that I still got it on the shelf, and I'm still going to push for it. It's called The Cross, and
I've heard of this.
Yeah, I shot that with a great actress here in Atlanta. Her name is Karis Ann Jeffers.
Okay.
Yeah, she's also awesome. I think just to give people a little bit of background about The Cross, it's about a character. I want to say it's a cross between Kill Bill and The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All right.
And also with The Crow. So combine those two movies, you get The Cross. It's about a superhero, a woman she has only one arm, but she uses the arm of her dead father to beat the shit out of villains. Yeah, and I've got a trailer for it, and I believe it's on YouTube, so check it out.
Yeah, no, I didn't know you finished it, honestly. I remember hearing it in works, but
yeah, I've got it on Vimeo. I'll probably send you. I can send you the links to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely. And then I think my next upcoming project that I'm working on in March, knock on wood, it's actually I don't want to say it's a sequel to my first Scarecrow movie, but this one is kind of like my I want to say this one is a love letter again to Creep Show. It's called Patches, and I'm actually working with some good actors in this one. I've got Josh Hare, Maxton. He was in Dead by Midnight. I can't remember his last name. I'm working with a new actress. Her name is Shadia. Cool. Definitely can't wait. This is going to be my first time working with her. And then Caitlin McPhail is going to be in it. She's going to be a coked up lawyer. It's like,
wow.
And then I've got Kate Bill. Her name is Kate. She's going to be also playing a part in it as well. So yeah, we're going to probably, well, not probably, but we're aiming for a March production date to start shooting, which I'm looking forward to. And I think next year I'm probably going to hit the ground running because I want to try to do another short that I'm working on. So again, I always told myself I want to try to challenge myself to at least shoot at least 2 or 3 movies a year.
That's a
So
great goal.
Yeah, and I think that now that I'm able to kind of financially, save money to kind of put back.
Good.
That's why I tell a lot of filmmakers, you really, just I went through a lot trying to get funding for the short.
Yeah.
And I think even though I didn't get it, it was a learning experience. It encouraged me just to like Lord Kaufman said, make your own damn movie. And I just saved my own money. And I think that's one thing I can say. It's like if you really want something, you have to sacrifice for it. And I just said to myself that if I'm able to get in a position where I can financially just fund my own movies, I'll just try to do it myself. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my goal, to shoot 2 shorts next year, and then one of my goals is to start working on my feature after that.
Heck yeah. Well, so what is the best moments on the set? We're gonna basically do best moments and hardest moments.
Well, the best moments on set for me, I guess there's a lot of them. Because I'm with my friends and we're all having fun. I don't think they're best moments. I think they're memorable, great moments. I think that these are the moments that I look back and say, hey, yeah, these are the best moments of my life. Wow, what is a good one? A best moment on set. I guess I want to say, just stepping behind like that first day of shooting, calling action on that first shot. I think that's
a thrill itself.
Yeah, that's for every film. And then, an even greater moment is when you said, "That's a wrap. We're wrapped." So that's that. But again,
no, it is a good moment, especially because it takes a lot of work and preparation, and you're like hoping that everything's going to go smooth, and it's not, but you hope it's going to go as smooth as possible with the restrictions we have.
Because it's like I've got a funny moment that I want to share with everyone. When we were shooting WereBum, and this may be this is the worst moment. We were trying to get a shot, elevator shot, and this is when back in 2009 when we was using lights that we had to plug into the wall, and so there was a shot where one of the actors got on the elevator and we had to light the elevator.
Oh.
And Tori was like,
I didn't think about that.
Tori's like, don't put that light in there, because if you put the light in there, the light's going to go down, like the elevator's going to close on the light. And so, so one of the actors, he was like, it'll be fine, we'll be fine.
Oh no.
So, a group of us is late at night. We're in like this office building, and so we put the light in the elevator, and the actor, he's like action, and the actor, what's supposed to happen is that he was supposed to, as soon as he presses the button, we're supposed to pull the light out, but we didn't do it in time, and then the light just got sucked into the. And Tori made this, and I went in the corner and started crying because Tori was talking to another friend of mine named Ricky, and Ricky's like, are you gonna go over there and talk to him? And Tori's like, okay. Because I made a big deal. He said, Jay, why are you crying? It's not like my light got sucked into a black hole. Just another light. I was like, yeah, you're right. Why am I crying? Because it was just so funny. And there's actually, I think we have footage of it. It's on the drive because you can hear
Oh Jesus.
other crew member like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. It was just so funny. And the light just like, he said, Jay, you act like the light was getting sucked into this like black hole and it was going to get destroyed. And I had to just get another light. And I was like, yeah, why was I crying? But again, it's just, that was like, again, just shooting for the first time. And, like you said, Flint, there are things that happen, they don't run, according to plan. And, we were just, I was just making up shit as I go when we were filming. So, again, that's my worst moments when you make shit up as you're shooting.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes it can work out really well and sometimes it does, but
backfires. Fair. All right. So we're going to do the quick questions, I call this, where I'm going to shoot out 20 questions at you. You name or you answer it as best as you can, as fast as you can. So we're going to start with, what's your favorite color?
I would say blue.
All right. Favorite food?
Sushi. No, pizza. No, sushi. Pizza.
Sushi pizza. Okay. Favorite candy?
Nerds.
Favorite music?
Genre music or just
anything? How you?
80s pop.
Oh yeah. Favorite game?
WereHouse.
Favorite movie?
Creep show.
Favorite show?
Tales from the Dark Side.
Favorite actor?
Bruce Campbell.
Nice. Favorite historical figure?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Chicken or beef?
Beef.
Mountain or ocean?
Ocean.
Oh. Samurai or ninja?
Ninja. Because I like Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah. Donuts or ice cream?
I would say ice cream because I can mix my protein shake in it and get buffer.
Dinosaurs or aliens?
Aliens, because the Guyver was an alien unit created by the Zoidnoid, and I wish I had a Guyver unit, so aliens.
Boobs or butts?
Oh, boobs.
Why is the sky blue?
Because it didn't want to be purple.
Why is candy so good?
Because it's so sweet.
Why are people humans?
Because they need to be beings.
Why are we so tiny but so big?
Because we've got a lot of love to give.
And last question, why are you amazing?
I'm not amazing. I'm great. I'm the J-Man.
All right, that wraps up the quick questionnaire. We had just keynotes. He's a regular. He asked, where did you get these questions? I just made them up. They're awesome. Back to the program. So we're going to be asking, more of the regular questionnaires of why you got into film and all that. This question is there someone you look up to in general in the film industry or personal? This is kind of similar to the other one, the inspiration, but this is, more.
That I look up to in the film world.
Or anything.
Well, the J-Man. I look up to myself.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I look up to myself because, I'm always evolving. I'm changing. So, yeah, I look up to myself because...
The great Jay Holloway. Heck yeah.
Yeah, because I look at myself every day in the mirror, and I've got a story for you. When I went to the gym today, I scared myself because when I went into the locker room, I was so big. I was like, "Ooh!" And I was like, "Oh, that's me!" And I started posing. Yeah, I had to jump back and kiss myself.
All right.
Now you reach superstardom when you especially working out when you don't even recognize yourself. Again, this is like 11 o'clock at night. Nobody's in the gym, and I'm walking in there. I walk past the mirror. I'm like, ah! And I said, oh, that's me. And then, I just said, hey, yeah, I'm hitting that
How
gym.
how often do you work out?
Ooh, I work out probably about 4 times a week. I mean,
Oh wow.
I work out
Bro,
Monday. I go to the gym like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I work out from 3 to 6, and today I
wow.
went from 3 to 6, and then I said, hell, I want to go back again. So I went back from about 9 to about 10:30. So
It's awesome.
I mean, you have to stay in the gym. I mean, I got to get big for the ladies because I want them to see that the J Man has muscles. I mean, I remember those commercials like, I'm working out, I'm drinking milk to get strong bone. J Man don't drink milk. J Man drinks protein shakes.
Oh all right. Let's see. Sorry. Let's get back up. If you could work with any actor, who would it be?
Ooh, that was a good one. Probably any actor that I could work with. Oh, you know what? This would have been a good dream project.
Hmm?
And I hate that the actor died. I would have loved to do a Guyver fan movie with Jason David Frank as Guyver 3. Because he reminded me so much of the guy. I cannot think of his name. The character that was in Guyver 3. What was the Guyver 3 unit's host name?
Agito Makishima is Guyver 3.
I think David Jason Frank would have made that character awesome. I would have loved to if I had the money. I would have loved to have had him play Guyver kind of like Guyver 3 because he does. Does he kind of remind you of him?
Who is this? I actually don't know that. I'm not familiar with this name.
Yeah, he was the Green Ranger.
Oh, yes, absolutely, 100%. Wow, that actually would have been good.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been, and I met him at he was at Dragon Con. He was an awesome guy, and I think I mentioned it to him. I think I may have mentioned it to him, but yeah, I said that he would have made an awesome Guyver 3. Like
he really would have.
He looks just like the character too.
He does.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other actor or actress?
Actress. Okay, as far as actress go, there's so many actresses that I would like to work with. I would probably Sigourney Weaver.
Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome. Aliens.
Yes.
All right. If you could teach someone on how to be a director, what would you say?
You just have to get out there and do it. I think that's pretty much how I learned. I got out there and did it. I don't think, again, like we kind of said earlier, you can plan so many things, but they don't work out. And the way you learn is by doing. So I would just tell them, again, I know, not trying to, BS or anything, but
yeah,
you have to get out there and do it. Even
sure.
Sam Raimi said it, get a script, write it, and then try to shoot it. Get some actors, get your friends to help crew out on it and everything. Because again, just when we worked on things, I learned things, but again, the best way I learned is by doing it, and that was by trial and error. So that's what I would just tell someone: get out there and just do a movie. I mean, we got phones and everything, we got editing software. There's no damn reason why you can't do a movie.
It's true. I mean, it's back then it was really hard. I mean, you still could do it, but it was much harder in the 90s, the early 2000s, because there was not good cameras, or you could get a home camera, I guess. Which I mean, you still could do that, but nowadays you could get a really decent camera for very cheap.
Yeah, I mean, people shoot movies all day. They're called YouTube videos.
And I think people. I was just saying, I think most people don't realize this, but to make something higher production is not the camera. I mean, don't get me wrong, the camera's important, but lighting and sound are the most important thing. Because people don't realize.
But story is also, that's the most important thing too, because
absolutely.
In film school, I saw a lot of people that had like great cinematography. The film was shot really well, but the story was just, I don't I don't like to shit on anybody because we're all artists. If
Yeah.
anybody can get up and pick up a camera, then yeah, you get out there and you make the effort. Yeah, I respect you on that. But I think a lot of stories, a lot of films. I mean, they look really good, but the stories, it's they're not there. And I learned
Laughs in
something
Clover.
too.
The Kino said lighting laughs in Cloverfield. Cloverfield didn't have great lighting. Well, actually, it was done very well for what it was doing because it was like the Blair Witch Project, but in Godzilla format.
But you know what? If you look at those big budget, what is it called, found footage film, I still they're using probably shit tons of like film equipment to shoot.
Oh,
'Cause,
yes.
yeah, it's
Yes.
like they actually staged it. Not and again, not shitting on them.
Hmm?
It's just like again, I agree. Like when I looked at Cloverfield, I'm like, yeah, this lighting is just. Probably somebody in post production like, yeah, let's turn it down and make it look really shitty so it can look like it doesn't have any lighting or anything like that. Because
Yeah.
again, because like when you look at the Blair Witch, I mean, I think the Blair Witch. Again, what sold the Blair Witch was the story. I mean, that's the thing, the story, because it was just some kind of unseen thing which you kept hearing about.
Yeah.
You kept hearing about the Blair Witch, and it just kept building up on it. So you stuck around for the story. I mean, because again, there have been other movies like that where with found footage. I'm trying to think of a movie back like that, like American Horror Story. Well, that was like a documentary, and I don't think you can compare. Yeah, you can't really compare that myself because that was bad.
Well, Blair Witch, I think a lot of people thought it was real. Like if you watch the whole thing and get to the very end, like I think that all the cast members that were in that project die or something like that, and people are like, wait, did they really die? I was even confused when I first watched that because I was like, wait, this was fake, right? And that idea of it possibly being real was the scariest factor and why it exploded. On top of that, the marketing team did an insane job on that movie.
Yes. I mean, and if you go back, Flint, there were other movies like that in the 70s. I think there was one called Cannibal Holocaust, where they were saying that how the way it was marketed is that this film crew went to go interview these cannibals, and somehow the cannibals ate them and they found the footage or something like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, again, I could be wrong on it. And, audience, help me out on this. I think that they said they told the actors that had died to purposely hide. Kind of like,
yeah.
Died or something like that. And then another movie I like on my, good, top 10 movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That one was always pitched as like true events because when you see it, it was shot like documentary style, and then it gets that title like the film you're about to see. Out of such and such. So
yeah.
Here's my thing. If I wanted to shoot something like that, I would do a cannibal movie about somebody trying to learn how to become a cannibal. I mean, I know that there are some people out there, but just somebody just like they just like, man, I really want to eat somebody. Can you imagine somebody just building up the courage to go eat somebody?
Oh yeah.
I'm not a cannibal or anything.
Sure.
I would call it, the name of it, I wrote a script called Me, and it stands for Meat Eater. It's about a guy that's trying to learn how to become a cannibal, but he doesn't have the balls to do it.
That's awesome. All right, now we're going to get into questions more about your life versus film. What do you like to do in life? Obviously, you bodybuild, work out, but
I like to live, and I mean, also I'm a big video game player. I love playing, especially survival horror. If I could name my all-time favorite survival horror games, starting from Nintendo up until now, from Nintendo, well, let's go from Atari. Atari would be Ghost House. Nintendo would be Friday the 13th. Games kicking
yeah, me too.
Let's see, Sega Genesis, Splatterhouse. When we're moving into the 32-bit era, I would say Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
And then I would say The Evil Within.
Okay, I've been playing that.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And then I want to check out this new one. I pre-ordered it, the Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I like to do. Play like a lot of survival horror games. Also, I like to draw. I used to do it a lot. I don't do it as much as I should. I like to sketch. Um, what else? I like to travel. Uh, I like to go when I'm trying to get ideas for movies. I go around and hide in people's yards. I hide by their windows and I just take notes and listen to the conversations. And I just, I'm a peeping Tom screenwriter. I don't peep at what they're doing. I'm listening to what they're doing. So if I'm hearing a couple argue, I'll say, hey, that sounds like a great idea. And I just run off. Now, if a couple is doing the nasty, I say, hey, J-Man don't do those type of movies. So J-Man goes to the next house. So I'm a peeping Tom's screenwriter. You may see me in the bushes listening, and then you may see in a few months a movie based on that same conversation. And you may think you're smart, say, hey, that person, they made a movie off of our conversation. Yeah, because I was listening to you.
Wow. I'm scared. My sister's scared.
I'm just kidding.
um,
I like to have fun. Spend time with family and friends, again, work out, and legal stuff. So.
no, that's awesome. What silly things make you happy? Oh wait, hold a second. Before that, that's how some stories are born from Kinos. All right, continue.
I just like getting the reaction out of people. I remember, I like when you become the J-Man's friend, you get a nickname. And I just love it when people hear their nicknames for the first time. And
this is very true. Wait, what's my nickname? Since this is the first time I'm interviewing you. Actually, that's the second time. I'm lying. Second time.
I would say your name. Okay, if I can give you a nickname, I would call him the Blaster Master.
Wait, well, why the Blaster Master?
Because you blast and you're the master. But, so I can tell you how
Flint nickname Flint. This is from Streamer, another regular.
I remember because I got a lot of my good friends have nicknames like the T, like Tori. I call him the T-Man, aka the Viper, aka the Time Lord. And then another friend of mine is Ricky. I would call him the Rick Man, aka the Iron Man. I would call Melissa Cyborg Justice.
The Latinos would be proud of Jay. Sorry.
And Caitlin, I call her Shaker Baker. And then another good friend of mine. Here's a good story. I don't know if he's.
I am proud.
When we were shooting Dead by Midnight, his birthday. He had just had a birthday and we got a cake. And this cake, his nickname, his J-Man nickname was Crossbreeder. So the funny part about it was that we got the cake and he was supposed to blow out the candles and the cake fell on him. And I didn't know it was, but it did it twice. I didn't know how the cake fell on. It's just slid and it's a happy birthday Crossbreeder. I don't remember who. I don't know if it was. I don't know. It was somebody went to go pick up the cake, and the cake. I know Tori knows the story a lot better than I am. When we were shooting at U42, I want to say we were shooting the wraparound, and a good friend of mine was there, and we said it's his birthday. And when we brought the cake, I didn't know the cake said "Happy Birthday, Crossbreeder."
Wow. Sorry.
He blew out the candles and the cake just slid on him. So I thought that was really funny, but yeah, I love giving my friends nicknames. So you've made it to the J-Man size when you have nicknames.
Oh heck yeah, I deserve it. See, so best quote from. Oh, I don't know if you know any quotes from me, but what is the best quote from me?
Oh, okay. I think. Let's see. Hold on. I remember watching a Flint Fixhanzer. The first time I seen a Flint Fixhanzer video, he was being interviewed, and he was saying that me and my sister Akadi, we want to create a place where there's games, and there's entertainment. Huh? I think he was being interviewed, and it wasn't more of a quote. It was a sound. It was. So it was a sound like. So it wasn't a quote, but it was a sound like.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm known for my sound sometimes. It's unfortunate.
So yeah, I think that's my favorite sound effect from Flint Times. I don't have a quote, but I have a favorite sound.
Nice. So this is going more back toward the film stuff. In general, why did you pick horror, the category of horror? I mean, you kind of went on this a little bit, but is there more to it?
I just think it's more of a. I just like the branches of horror because you can go in any direction with horror. You know, you can just do psychological horror, you can do body horror, you can do slasher horror. I mean, it's just so many layers to it. And I just think it gives, for me, it gives me something to, to it's kind of like a buffet for me, if that makes sense. It's
Even
like,
horror.
when you have action movie, I know you have sci-fi action, you have drama, but I think horror to me, I love just the art of it. I love the visual. I love the stories. I love, just everything about horror. I really wish that I could say I am horror, but I am not horror. I have not made it to that status yet when I can say J-Man is horror, but no, I love it. Again, just as a kid watching it, I fell in love with it. And I think what made me love it even more was that my mom wouldn't let me, let me and my brother watch horror movies. My dad my dad was the one that introduced me to horror movies, and the story I tell everyone, my first horror movie I watched was called The Car, and it was 1997. I mean 1977. Called The Car, and I just remember watching it. It scared the hell out of me, and what scared me even more was my dad told me that when you're outside riding your bicycle, you're going to get hit by that car.
Wow, what a
that car's going to hit you. And that scared the hell out of me as a kid. But yeah, so that's I love it. I've always been a lover of it. And that's why I love every filmmaker that's picked up a camera and done a horror movie. I just give respect to them, because it
hell yeah.
takes a lot to do horror movies.
It does. So Strimmer was like, I like films, but I can't handle horror. Or I'm sorry, I like horror, but I can't handle horror. But so
try to manhandle that horror. You get in there and you just watch it, and you love it. I think it's certain type of horrors. I think most people get creeped out by, and it's funny too because my mom's not a horror. She doesn't like horror movies, but she loves Misery, Stephen King's Misery.
Horror manhandling.
So, I think finding that right horror, because you have so many comedy horror movies, like you got comedy horror like Zombieland, and so it's I think just
Shaun of the Dead,
finding that right horror fit. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we worked on Dead by Midnight. And the sequel. What were your thoughts on Heroes of Time? It was the segment I did.
Heroes of Time was good. It reminded me of a movie that, and I may watch it tonight. It's called Arcade. It was.
Oh, okay.
It came out like in I don't know if it was 95, but Heroes of Time reminded me of that. I loved it. I thought it was good. Again, for the studio that we worked with, which was U42, who did like the animation and everything, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted. I don't know if we can get into spoiler territory.
That's fine.
I remember Sir Rockinson that there were more characters that were like these top level characters.
Huh?
I wanted to know like what happened to those characters, because I know at the end, one of the characters went with him, and I was like, well, is it a prequel? Like, is it like those other characters, those other top characters? I want to know about those characters.
Yes. Okay. So, in general, I did a film called "Here's a Time" which was an anthology. No, obviously Jay knows about this. And the goal of the villain was to collect the top characters, the top 10 best characters in this MMO. And this is technically a little bit diving into this world of a bigger world that I want to create with Dylan. Me and Dylan are writing the script, and that is one of those questions that will be answered in the series. Like this was a 15-minute short. I want to make like a 6-episode series. For multiple seasons potentially. I have to get the money for it. But anyways, that question you ask is very important to the overall goal of this.
Okay, cool.
Or it's like one of the big, questions to say. So yeah, because we definitely dive into more of those top 10. And
so, question, Flint, is it going to be where I'm assuming like the most top tier person would probably be the person who would be the number one person, and that would be that person who actually played the game for the first time, right?
No and yes. So the best way to put it is the top 10 in this series, or in the short, there's different elements in the game, and there are 8 elements, like lightning, fire, ice, so forth and so on. Imagine if each element, because you can specialize in the game in a different element. If that particular element, that person is the best at that element.
Okay.
So that creates at least a majority of them. Now there's 8 elements. There's 10 top. Who are the other 2? That's a question. I know this, but that's definitely. And is Sir Rockin one of them? Is he not? He may not even be one of the top 10. He may be like a mentor or so, to a degree, or whatever. I know that answer too, but.
And what's funny too, Glenn, is that the whole theme of Dead by Midnight, I don't know if you caught this, every character was blue.
Oh no, I did not.
Do you know that GutCruncher, my character was blue?
Yeah, and Sir Rockin's blue. Jasper's. Yeah, he was. He was. I didn't catch that. That's funny.
I don't think Clean Your Room and Hell Avengers, I don't think they had blue.
You could argue the not the Lost Laundry. What was it called? The other. I felt like it was a sequel to Lost Laundry in a lot of ways, but what was the?
Clean Your Room.
It has probably. You could have argued he had blue on him because it's laundry. There's going to be different colors on him.
And they had a blue. I think.
Yeah.
I think Anissa, she kind of. It had like a blue tint, like as you went on to the movie, it kind of got blue and blue. I mean, I don't know, just because it was dark and they were trying to use, everybody uses blue for night. But yeah, Dead by Midnight too had a blue. Yeah, we had a blue theme going on there.
I didn't even catch that. That's really funny.
Now I have a question for you, Flint.
Yeah.
Would Sir Rockin', if you could go back and do it again, would you would have kept his mask on to keep him more mysterious?
Originally he was supposed to have his mask on the whole time. We got a particular actor who looked good, and I wanted he was just a good looking guy. And I wanted, also, when he takes off the mask versus on the mask, he becomes almost a different person. He goes from being more of a NPC type of character to this character's serious. This character could take people out instantly.
And when because I looked at it 2 ways. I said, okay, I see what the director was trying to do, but what that character would have been, because again, characters with masks, they can't emote emotion, like, it's more body movement. They have to kind of play on their body movement to kind of sell the character. And because I know when you first see him on screen, when they go into the castle, I was like, okay, he's, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Because he kind of reminds you of Death Adler from Golden Axe.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I know with Death Adler, his mask is on all the time. Yeah. So I just wondering, as a director choice, if you could go. Now, let me ask you this: is there anything if you could go back? Let's just say, for instance, budget wise, if they were to give you Flint, like, let's just say $100,000 budget. I know that's still low budget.
Yeah, but that's a lot bigger. 10 times, 90% bigger. But yeah.
what would you would have invested more in? Would have probably made it more the short a little bit more longer, or
Absolutely
special
longer.
effects, or
Close. I think close is a huge thing, at least in my film, because it's MMO. You have to have that armor. I
the
spent
wardrobe?
$1,000 on the wardrobe of one character that was not in the budget, so it was out of my pocket. And
Okay, yeah.
uh, so definitely that. Special effects maybe they did. I mean, I didn't technically pay for the special effects. U42
Mhm.
did. I mean, like out of my budget. Maybe they did it out of passion. They did a hell of a job for
Yeah, they
their
did.
budget. Um, but yeah, but it's probably the wardrobe would be or maybe make it more lengthier. I mean,
Mhm.
it's harder to do it, especially in an anthology, because the anthology is supposed to be short.
Mhm.
The
Now,
stories.
here's my last question. With the, I know in the intro when they're like fighting the, the creatures and everything,
Yeah.
right? If you could go back and do it with, and you had the money,
Hmm?
you would have made what you would have actually got practical, like actual people in
Yeah.
costumes
I,
dressed up.
yes, and I guess that's a location would be another thing. Like obviously, one of the scenes we filmed, this was my bad, but very bad, like in front of a house, and it was turned into a castle. I would have just done that blue screen originally if I knew that, because it would have made it easier on the special effects team. But I would like a real castle. I would just fly to Europe, get a castle, or find a place in the United States that has some type of medieval.
It's like historical, yeah. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind and that's the thing, when you're looking at locations. I think to me, again, going back to challenges for me with being a filmmaker is finding locations.
Yes.
I think first it would be locations, and then it would be actors, and just finding that right fit. So it's always been location wise. I mean, again, I kind of say again with Heroes of Time. I think for what was shot, I think you did a good
Yeah.
a marvelous job of what
We had.
what you can present, because again when you look at most fantasy movies now, like the Lord of the Rings and a
Mhm.
lot of other stuff, they have like these big forest battles. It's like everything is in the forest, and there's castles and everything, and you have to kind of make do with what you have. And
Yeah.
again, I think you did a an awesome job with it. Again, yeah, I'd love to see more what happens with it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm at. Like I said, that's one of my goals. Just like you have, make two films or two shorts a year. I want to make Heroes of Time reality. That would be like such a dream of mine. Obviously, I need to get a script that's like good enough, that I'm satisfied with, and then look at the budget and see how much it actually would cost for an indie, or maybe go big. Maybe I could get lucky and get like a producer. But
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can go here with some of the other films that you've shot in the past. That I think
hey, Jordan.
The stories were there, where they were simple, where it was one. And I thought it was good, and this was a good one. It's probably like I would say next. Probably my first one was where one of the friends, he invites all his friends over to his house.
Oh yes, yes.
Killing him because he has cancer.
That one is such a dark. I love that script, and it was done.
I think the whole premise of that, you could actually shoot something like. I mean, again, I think it works well as a short. I think if you're looking like Twilight Zone type of this, Tales from the Crypt, I think it falls really well in that. I
Mhm.
really like that. I said that to me that. I would almost push for you if you could get like a micro budget, maybe 6 or 8 thousand. You can actually shoot something like that, because again, it's not. I mean, if you want to focus like on the death scenes, yeah. I mean, that's obviously that's going to take a lot, but that story in itself, um, yeah, that's a good. Talking about horror, that's kind of like a yeah. It's more of it's more like a kind of a slasher horror, but drama horror. I would say
Yeah,
drama horror.
yeah.
Because it's a sad story.
Yeah, I personally love character conflicts, and that
Yeah.
really dives into that, because these are best friends. How could you kill your best friend? Why would? So yeah. No, and that was one of my favorites. That was for a friend's college project. Like he was a sound major, Gwen, and I remember he showed us the professor, and he was like, "Who filmed this? Does he go to school?" He's like, "No, it's just one of my friends he's never been to college." I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice compliment."
Yeah, I would push. I would almost try to, because again, that's something you can almost shoot that for like about. I mean, like
Yeah, 10,000. You're right. I mean, it's not.
yeah,
You just have to pay the actors, and crew,
and
of
then
course.
and then the effects would probably be like the the killing scenes and stuff like
Yeah,
if depending on how far you want to go with the the death scenes, but
yeah.
I would almost push for that because that. Well, okay. Let me ask you this question, Flint. Let's say, for instance, and I wish this would happen, if there was going to be, we were going to close out Dead by Midnight with a third film.
Huh?
What what would you do? Okay, like because again, I love creepy dolls. I think in the first Dead by Midnight,
Yeah,
the
Creepy was
film,
awesome.
yeah, creepy dolls and Blindside, and I like creepy dolls because as a director, you had access, like everything was there for you, and I
Yes.
think that to me, when you look at that one versus Heroes of Time, I like both of them. I think
Yeah, I think Creepy Doll is better.
was a little bit successful because
Yeah.
even Robert Rodriguez said, like, you make a film to what you have access to.
Yes.
And you had access to just everything was like right in your backyard.
Yes.
So it seemed like you had more control over it. So I guess if you could do, what story would you do if you were given a budget, let's say for instance 15,000. If we're going to do Dead by Midnight 3, what story would you do?
I think so. One of my favorite types of genres is, I think it's the hack and slash. It's like Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. I think I would want to make an homage to that, like something that's along the lines of a hack and slash, but very character driven.
So going back, would it have been that other film? Do you think the film that we were just talking about with the short with the guy that was killing his friends and found out he had cancer?
Maybe that obviously could easily be in it, or just like a whole new thing, but like on a killer, just like focus on like the killer, and like I always like. I mean, you've dived into this. Tori's dived into this. Killers that are not so black and white. They have gray. There's a reason why they kill. It's not like just out of because they kill. You could even argue Jason Voorhees. He killed because he was killed by.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the characters back then, I think that whole transition with characters and stuff, the if we're looking back at Dracula, Frankenstein, they were tragic characters.
Yeah.
If you really want to look at it. And that's what I said, like when you go into like the 80s and stuff, yeah, Jason, I think Jason was a tragic character because he drowned and then he saw his mother, beheaded that night.
Yeah.
I think what makes horror characters better is that when you don't know anything about them. I think that
Interesting.
they say you want to sympathize with the. I just don't like that shit because it's like I don't want to sympathize with the character. I just want to go out there and just like when you look at the Thing, like John Carpenter's Thing.
Oh gosh, so creepy.
With the Thing, yeah, the Thing was just going around fucking things up. I don't want to sympathize. Like I don't want to sympathize with Michael Myers. I mean, I just want to see him kill big-breasted women. I mean, and Leatherface, I don't want to sympathize. I just want to see him eat people and just like. And I think, to me, again with horror now, I like that that it's got a really strong renaissance now. And I don't, again, I keep up with it. They're now going, and this is funny too. They're now taking characters like from like Winnie the Pooh and they're making horror movies off of like. Let's take these, like they're gonna do a horror movie about Bambi. So I'm like,
wait, are you serious?
Yeah, they're gonna. Do a
oh my god, movie
about Bambi.
interesting.
So I guess like horror is really starting to. I guess it's. I like it that. I don't really like mainstream horror that much because it kind of has the same trope. And here's my thing. I like to try to break those tropes because I know there's always the final girl. I want to do a movie where it's the final guy or something like that, where there's nobody, like the villain wins. But I think that, to me, we've been so accustomed in horror movies to follow so many, like, there's so many rules that we have to follow, and I think the audiences have become so accustomed to it. Like, oh, there's the hero, and then there's the damsel in distress, and somehow the guy dies, and then the woman is like the last person living, or
Yeah,
it's like you got to change it up a little.
you definitely have to break out the formula. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that there are movies. I mean, maybe I haven't seen enough of them, but maybe there are out there. But again, I know I'm rambling, but yeah, I would wonder, like, I would kind of like to see what you would do for your next story if we did do it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Streamer says, why are they always trying to sympathize with the deranged murder, which you were just talking about?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna give you a good answer for that. Because they can do prequels. Like,
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, they sympathize because they said, oh, let's go back to his child. Let's do a prequel. Like, that's what Hollywood has done now with movies. Again, it's a formula. It's like movies are either done to do spin-offs. I think every damn movie that's done now is always done to do a spin-off or a cinematic universe. I'm like, I don't, to me, if I don't want to shit on the film industry now, but I think the film industry is like the fast food chain. It's just like McDonald's and Burger King. It's like everything is coming off of the assembly line, and it's the same. It's just like when you go to McDonald's, that's the only thing you're gonna get when you go to just a burger, fries, a chicken sandwich, a fish sandwich, and that's just. And then sometimes they may switch it up and throw the McRib in there, then they take it away. To me, Disney is like McDonald's. I mean, that's what it is.
Streamer was like,
I'm not shitting on the Marvel movies or anything, but I think it's, to me, we're at that point with just Marvel movies, with the whole superhero genre, is that it's cinematic universe. Now we got to make them dark. Because I think, you remember when they tried to make Spider-Man dark, like the Amazing Spider-Man? They were all trying to copy off of Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah.
Where it was dark, and it was like, oh, we're going to make it grounded. And now they're trying to make it where the characters are like anti-heroes. I mean, again, it's been going on for a long time. But
yeah. There's a formula.
I just think that, I think, again, the whole superhero is just like McDonald's. Eventually, people are going to get tired of it. I mean, how?
Oh, absolutely. You have to make it fresh and new. That's why Game of Thrones was so fresh at its time. That's why Walking Dead, when it first came out, was so fresh at its time.
Then they got greedy and start doing all these damn spin-offs and stuff. And I'm
Yep. Absolutely.
And again, I know that's been going on for a long time, but it's just it's what people have become accustomed to. And if you try to show them something new, it gets, most people shit on it because they're like, oh, it doesn't fit what's going on now. Because if you look at and again, I've never seen Game of Thrones. I'm not knocking Game of Thrones. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of good things about it. And then you hear, like, they're doing a spinoff. I think House of Dragon, that's a spinoff of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah. It's very good.
Yes. I mean, I wish I can do that.
So the thing about Game of Thrones was Game of Thrones had 8 seasons. The first 4 seasons were fantastic. They were so good by the material. The writer George R. Martin didn't have material after that. He had pieces, obviously, but the showrunners didn't know how it was going to end, how certain characters were going to go, so they just did their own way, and it fell through. Like, it was really not that good. But House of Dragons does follow a history in the past. It has the whole source material, so it should be good, and it probably will. First season was good, but yeah.
Have you noticed, Flint? Like, when you look at when the original creators start off with like when you look at Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, I think they got to a point where he just stopped. I mean, I guess he was a part of it, but then, and again, I forgive me for saying this to all the Dragon Ball fans, that wasn't it a point where he just stopped doing it and he just gave them ideas and then it just kind of got
yes, really fast. I want to answer or say what Strimmer says. He says, "Screw the last woman or man. Make it the only survivor that should be is a dog."
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think of where the dog did survive. A movie that was like that. There is a movie called I think it's called The Long Dark. It's about a pack of wild dogs that start killing the town, and it's so it's so sad because there's this scene where this family, it's an old movie. If I can think of the name of it, I think it's called The Long Dark Night. I can't think of it. But there was one scene that was sad where this family, they were getting ready to move and they couldn't take the dog with them. And the dog was a collie. And so I think the dad told the son to take the dog out to the woods and tie him up to a tree and just leave the dog there. And so you can just see this dog is just like whining and everything because they left him there. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but people do die in the movie, and the dog, that same,
Yeah.
Jesus said the dog survives.
Hell yeah.
Man's best friend. If you remember that movie, yeah, the dog died, but then his offspring lived. So yeah, rock on with the dogs. Yeah, the dogs need to live in the movie.
Going back to the Akira Toriyama thing, fun fact, this is from Streamer, and I actually knew this. He intended on Dragon Ball to end at the Cell Saga, but he was forced to continue into Dragon Ball, the Buu Saga, and Super. And I did hear that, like, when he made Dragon Ball, it was about Goku. When he made Dragon Ball Z, it was about Gohan. It was his offspring, his son. So when his son finally exceeded Goku, his father, that was when it was supposed to end. And it was freaking fantastic ending if it had ended there. I think it would have been one of the best series. Don't get me wrong. There are points of Dragon Ball that like drag and all that stuff, but overall, it was a good arc. But once you hit into Buu, you start there are good moments, but overall I didn't like the Buu Saga. Super, same thing. There are good moments, there are good even themes that they like start out with, and then it just falls really flat. I feel like they're just trying to make it as epic as possible, and it just doesn't work. Also, it doesn't help.
GT, because I heard he didn't have anything to do with GT. Didn't they said he just gave them? Wasn't GT was supposed to be like an homage to like the original?
Yeah, it was the same. I think like the artist team that did GT, but he was not affiliated with it. I don't even think it's canon, if I'm correct on that. Yeah.
I think they said too, Flint, was that it's supposed to happen after the Buu Saga. Wasn't that how it was?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Super got sandwiched into that. Then they kind of sandwiched Super in to kind of bridge to go to GT.
Yeah. So it's about Pan, who's the daughter of the daughter of Gohan. So it's the next generation. And Trunks when he's older. But yeah, I think Super's supposed to be in between that, but Super's taken on such its own path. It's not going to connect. There's no way.
Yeah. Because they're trying to debate whether now, like when you look at Super Saiyan 4, was that powerful than Super Saiyan God? And then they did was it the Dragon Ball, like the little mini series that comes on? Was it Dragon Ball Heroes?
Yeah.
Bring all that in.
Yeah.
But I know, going back to our original thing, what we were talking about, Flynn, it seems that when artists first start off with a concept, it seems that they have control over it. They kind of know the flow over it.
Yeah.
And then when it becomes successful, producers kind of want to move them to the back of the train and try to drive the train. And it just seems like they kind of feel like what they think people would want because they go by statistics and all this stuff instead of just letting like the original showrunners, the creator, continue on.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of projects kind of are not, good, because like you say, that's a good thing with Game of Thrones. Like you said, so how much was he involved in the later season? JJRR, was he like?
Oh, you talking for Game of Thrones? Martin.
Yeah.
I met George R. R. Martin. Was involved up until season 4. So basically, when it started falling off, he was not involved anymore. And then Walking Dead, that was Robert Kirkman. He did the comic book, and he was actually involved all the way. It's not like he wrote the script or anything. He would be in the room. They would tell him an idea, and he's like, "I love it. Let's do it." Like they would be like, "We're gonna kill off this character. I know he doesn't die in the comic books," and he'd be like, "That's fantastic." Actually, I heard a lot of times Kirkman would be like, if it's like the same, he's like, yeah, okay, I've heard this before because he wrote it. And he's like, whatever, just do it. I know it's successful. But when they change things up, he's like, oh, now I'm interested. What are you changing up? Because I want to see if this is good. I think that's just interesting.
He's more like so it seems like he's more of a consultant rather than actual, like they just give him ideas and then he decides. Yeah, I mean, to me, I think when you reach that stage, because I think again that's what Akira Toriyama has. I think they were consulting because I
That's
heard that
true.
even with Dragon Ball Super Broly, he rewrote that character because the original creator of that character, and I don't know his name. He I want to say Flint. Akira Toriyama, he didn't have anything to do with it. Like he didn't write. Well, I know he didn't write the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie. He didn't have anything.
I don't think. I think a lot of the movies were not canon and not written by Akira. I could be wrong on that. No, Broly was not, and he did write it in the Super. He just studied it, or like watched the old Broly and then
And he
made
kind
it.
of gave him a little bit
And
more
I have to
skin in
admit, it was really good. That movie was really good. That
Yeah,
was one of like the highlights, and they did it just right for the Dragon Ball stuff in the future. But yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, when they are not involved with them. I actually didn't care too much about most of the movies, even though I do like some of them, especially the old school ones. Which I wonder if he was involved with that, like the Tree of Might or the the World's Strongest. I think it's called.
World's
It's
Strongest.
freaking
And then you
awesome.
had
Old school
Super
Dragon.
13. Yeah, I like and going when we look at the old school anime, I freaking love it because it's like compared to like the animation today. I was watching I'm trying to think of an anime movie I was watching. It was on Tubi. I think it was called oh, what's the name? I don't know if it's Demon City.
Oh,
Mega Pop, Demon City, Mega Pop. Well, basically, it's the guy. He looks just like M. Bison. He's like a warlord. I cannot think of that movie. It's like a series,
uh-huh.
but I freaking love old anime. I mean,
The '90s anime.
yeah, and I just hate it when it became so Americanized. Like, you can just kind of tell, like it kind of for me.
Hmm.
Maybe because I'm older, it kind of lost its charm because from what I've heard, this is what they was, again, a teenager in the '90s.
Hmm.
They were saying that everybody's first introduction to anime should be Akira. They said that that's the movie everybody, if you have to watch that movie. That's like basically like
yeah. I don't know why I was thinking of Akira
Akira,
Toriyama, but you're talking about the movie Akira. Yeah, it was.
yeah. They
Yeah,
said that's
because
everybody
Akira,
should
Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll.
Ninja
Those were
Scroll.
the three oldest popular series in the '90s. Like people are like, I don't know what anime is. Oh, I know what Ninja Scroll is. I'm like, that's anime. And they're like, what? That's how it was. Like, I remember responses like that. So,
But you know what? It's funny too because when you look at and that's why I'm so glad I grew up in the '80s. A lot of cartoons that we watched as a kid were kind of Japan, were anime like Voltron.
oh yeah,
That was anime. Tranzor Z. A lot of those shows that I'm trying to think of another that was popular. Robotech. I mean, a lot of that stuff was it was anime. It just wasn't so mainstream, and I think that's what made to me. I think
a charm of it.
anime and just media back then in the '80s what made it more special than it is now is that it was so hard to get it. It's like the only way you could watch the Guyver unless you knew a friend who had that tape.
Oh yeah.
A brother who had that tape because you couldn't just go into a store and like, hey, I want to buy the Guyver or Fist of No. You had to literally go somewhere to find that.
Yeah, no. I remember specialty stores. I remember being in school, and I'm like, man, Guyver's so good. And they're like, you're talking about MacGyver? I'm like, no, Guyver, MacGyver. They had no clue what anime was, or Japanese the cartoons. Different world. Yeah, you're right.
And it made me. I think media and everything was just so special back then because if you really wanted it, you had to go hunt for it. You could, just like with video games. You remember Flint when there were certain games that can only be played in Japan, that they never released in America and stuff like
Secret
that.
of Mana, Final Fantasy IV. It was called actually Final Fantasy 2 at its time, Final Fantasy 3, which was 6. Those were like, or if you did get them, you're painting it, spending on the arm and a leg on those games.
Yeah, and it made it so special when you saw it for the first time. And I just think now when you look at it again with media now, that's why it's so. I want to say we appreciate it, but I think we would be more appreciative to it if we didn't have so much access to it. And what I mean by that is that collectors and stuff like that, if I mean, again, I love YouTube, and YouTube saved a lot of media because stuff that you couldn't find. But just the whole idea of hunting for that anime tape, hunting, trying to find calling places, and to me that's what made it special. So
awesome. Well, we're gonna come to a wrap. Does anybody have any questions for the J-Man? If you do, speak right now. I hope you do. And while we see if anybody has any questions, I guess we can continue on with anime and all that stuff until yeah.
Okay, if you could have if you could have one of these powers, which one would you want? Would you want to know I'm trying to think. Okay, would you rather have a Guyver unit or know the deadly art of Hokuto Shinken?
Of course, the Guyver unit. The Guyver unit's amazing.
Do you know the Hokuto Shinken? Do you know who practiced that art?
Yeah.
Who practices that art of Hokuto Shinken?
Hokuto Shinken.
Is that from?
It's from Satan Baiko.
No, it's from Fist of the North Star.
I actually never saw that. Of course not. It was hard. The old school one was hard to get. It was like you're talking about how hard it is. It was impossible. I don't even think people know of the old one. That's how old it is. Because I know there's a remake of it. It's kind of like Berserk. Like the old school. Everyone knows what Berserk is, the old one, but they remade it and it was terrible. But the original was freaking amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another one for you, Flint. Would you rather have a Guyver unit or be Techno Man?
You say Guyver unit or Techno Man?
Was it Techno Man? I know that was like the American name of it, Techno Man. It was Techno Blade. I think it's called Techno Blade, I believe.
I mean, the Guyver is such a strong and powerful thing. I think it would trump a lot of things. So still trump it.
I love the Guyver, but it's so painful to be the Guyver. It's like.
Oh, that is true. That's a good point. It is when you get it. Well, you only have to do it once. It's like, you get like a billion knives stabbed into you. But anytime you're under threat, the Guyver will just come. Like, you're like, no, I'm fine. It's like, nope, I'm here already. A freaking tornado comes, the Guyver just comes out and you're safe. It's like, a tornado flings you like 2,000 billion feet and you hit the floor with the Guyver and it's like, just dust yourself off. You're like, I'm fine.
Have you noticed this, like in some cases where there have been cases where when people, after they transform back from the Guyver, they're naked?
Yeah, well, that makes sense. It probably like destroys their clothes, incinerates their clothes.
But sometimes it didn't, though. Like it didn't destroy their clothes.
That is true. I mean, that's more. It's more for the females, for obvious reasons.
But then too, when you call out the Guyver, it doesn't like this big fit. Like you could be okay. So let's say sitting in your castle, you're in a small room, and you're like Guyver, and the room would just blow up, won't it?
Yeah. You better make sure that you don't have any loved ones near you because they will die. I mean, it's like a freaking bomb goes off. When you call it.
I would love again. That's what power. Yeah, because again, the Guyver. That would be a cool superpower to have, as is the Guyver. I mean, it's the bio booster armor. I always wish I could have a Guyver unit. Yeah, I'll go do a lot of things as the Guyver.
So I'm a Foxarian. What would you be like if you're a Foxarian?
I would be a god.
Oh, would you? I don't know. You would have to pass me. I'm pretty, high in the rolling.
He's just a god that just floats through the universe.
Oh, okay.
I would have no action I would not participate in any type of doings. I would just be Wahoo the Watch. I would just be floating. I would just be an explorer. And the only way you can be an explorer is to be a god. That's
see.
What I would be.
All right. Well, we should get this to a close. Well, thank you, Jay Holloway, for coming and having me interview you. You are a blast. And hopefully I'll be doing this more with other people. I may even have Jay back on in the future. Huge goal. Oh yeah. And anybody out there, you have a good night. Thanks, Streamer and Jordan and Kinos for coming. And yeah, thank you all. Have a good night.
Yeah. Take care.